In the game today have the potential for making history every time they take the mound. But of the ones who can, Justin Verlander's at the top of the list. With 2 no-hitters under his belt and coming off of 4 dominant starts, the Rockies bats will have their work cut out for them against the Tigers righty. Happy Father's Day, everybody. This is going to be a good one. Rockies and Tigers next on Root Sports. Well, happy Father's Day, everybody. It's a beautiful day here at Coors Field as the Rockies get set to wrap up their 3-game series against the Detroit Tigers, and this their first series of interleague play this season. The Rockies have taken the first 2 games. They're looking to break out the brooms today, but it won't be easy. Everybody, welcome inside Coors Field. I'm Tom Helmer alongside my partner Jeff Hewson. This should be a really good pitching matchup. You've got Justin Verlander on the hill for the Tigers going up against Aaron Cook. For Aaron Cook, this will be the first time this season he's not playing a team called the Padres. As for Justin Verlander, he's won his last 4 starts. He's got 3 complete games this season, a no-hitter, almost threw a no-hitter his last time out. The guy's unbelievable.
He is, but that's the challenge at the big league level. Talking to a lot of guys in the locker room today, they were looking forward to going up and facing Justin Verlander. You know what? If he makes you look embarrassing, so what? He's done it to a lot of other hitters. If you get a couple hits off him, all the better, because he's throwing 2 no-hitters, 7 in the 3rd in his last outing, almost another no-hitter. It's going to be a fun matchup, but Aaron Cook is going to have to go out and pitch an Aaron Cook type of ball game. That means getting the sinkers, getting the ground balls, try to go past the 5th inning. He's gone 5 2/3 in his 2 starts against San Diego. Maybe go out there, go 6 or 7, but he has to control the left-handed bat. So far this season, lefties are hitting over 400 against Aaron, and they've got 4 left-handers in their lineup today. The good thing is they got Verlander hitting at the end, and he doesn't have a hit, so that helps. But it is fun when you have this type of anticipation for a pitching matchup, because Verlander and Roy Halladay probably are number 1, 2 in all of baseball.
There were over 48,000 yesterday here at Coors Field. Should be the same today for this final game of the series for the Rockies hit the road. We're going to take a break. When we return, we're going to talk about Chris Nelson, who's found his power stroke lately. 4 on this homestand, and since his call-up at the end of May has had 8 extra base hits in 16 games. Welcome back inside Coors Field. I'm Tom Helmer with more on Chris Nelson, who seems to get his name penciled in every day now at second base. Here's Mark Stout. Mark.
And you know what, Tom, prior to this weekend, the Rockies had 2 home runs from the second base spot. He has doubled that output this weekend alone. Still, I asked Jim Tracy today if he thought about sitting Chris Nelson this afternoon against Justin Verlander.
Let's let Chris Nelson see what this is all about, because he's obviously, like I've been talking about several times during the course of this homestand, handled himself incredibly well, making an incredible statement for himself. And also, from a justification standpoint, you know, a little bit unfair to pull one of these guys from here and say, hey, I got a game for you today. Justin Verlander, go get him, pal. Let Nelson handle it.
And Tom, he is in the lineup, hitting second, playing second. I asked him about his approach for Verlander. 3-word answer: hit the fastball.
All right, thank you, Mark. Well, we're set for baseball, and this is going to be a good one. Can the Rockies tame the Tigers one more time? We're about to find out. Rockies baseball is next. $15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. The Ford Mustang, the all-legend, zero-compromise thrill machine. Ford Mustang, drive one. Frost-brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers visit wellsfargo.com/Rockies for 2-for-1 club-level seats. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Aaron Cook taking the field for the Rockies. The Rockies are 17-3 in their last 20 interleague games at Coors Field. Austin Jackson will be leading things off for Detroit. He's 3 for 10 in this series, has struck out 3 times. He has 81 strikeouts in the season, which is second in the American League. Take a look at the rest of the Tigers lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Don Kelly will be over at third base. Brendan Bosch batting third. Miguel Cabrera will be batting cleanup. Alex Avila behind the plate, starting behind the dish for the first time in this series. You've got Peralta, Dirks, Rayburn, and Justin Verlander.
Take a look at Aaron Cook's numbers. 0-1 on the season. Both of those starts, as Tom mentioned in our open, have been against the San Diego Padres. Get an opportunity to face the Detroit Tigers for the first time in his career, and I just handed it a pretty interesting note from Doug. 2,496 ground balls in Aaron Cook's career, only 943 fastballs. That's 72.6% of the time the ball is on the ground. Defense has to be on their toes. That's fourth best right now among all active pitchers.
And the Tigers, despite being 0-2 in this series, have hit well. They've had 23 hits through the first 2 games. First pitch strike from Aaron Cook.
Now that's a good sinker to start with, because Aaron sometimes doesn't translate coming out of the bullpen in his first 15 pitches, just trying to find that release point.
Jackson will foul that one off into the second deck. You see the ground ball ratio for Aaron Cook, 2.65.
And you can kind of maybe take Brandon Webb off there because he hasn't pitched for 2 years. He's still trying to come back.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. An outside ball 1. It's a grounder to Wigginton. Throwing time. Take a look at how the Rockies stack up defensively. Last night in right field, it was Ryan Spilborghs and Seth Smith this afternoon, along with Gonzalez and Blackman. The infield is becoming pretty much the everyday infield. Wigginton, Tulowitzki, Nelson Helton, and Matt Pagnazzi making his first Rockies start behind the plate.
I talked to Matt. He said he caught Aaron 2 times on Aaron's rehab. Did not catch him in spring training, obviously, because Aaron was hurt. Aaron Cook was hurt.
Right.
There we go.
That's one of the reasons Jim Tracy felt comfortable in putting Pagnazzi behind the plate today, because he had caught Cook in a couple rehab starts, was familiar with him. It's a ground ball to the right side. Helton will flip it over to Cook, and there's 2 quick outs.
Well, it's nice to see 7 pitches into the game, already 2 outs. And that start last year when he was with St. Louis was against the Colorado Rockies.
And Jim Tracy said he liked the way he handled the St. Louis Cardinals pitching staff. He goes, I had no idea he was going to be a free agent at the end of the year. And he said he was the natural choice to call up after Jose Morales broke his thumb on Wednesday.
Very strong catch and throw guy. You might remember his uncle Tom Pagnazzi, longtime catcher for the Cardinals.
Here's Brendan Bosch for the Tigers. Bosch has scored 46 runs, which is tied for 6th in the American League. Former Tiger Curtis Granderson has scored 60. There's a base hit to the right side. So Bosch has the first hit of the afternoon. And that'll bring up Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera enters today's game hitting .403 against the Rockies lifetime. Hey, Who Wants Tacos fans, remember, if the Rockies score 7 more runs during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 p.m. to get your Rockies taco special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Cabrera in the 4-hole today. He was in the 3-hole in the first game of this series. First time he had batted in that position since July 23rd of 2009. And after that game, Jim Leyland decided he prefers to keep Cabrera in that number 4 spot.
When he has the kind of numbers that he does, just a force, a lot like Troy Tulowitzki for the Rockies at the number 4 spot. Guy that can hit for a high average, but also hit with a lot of power.
Windshield damage? Call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. The 1-1 pitch from Cook. This one fouled off the right side. Some fan tried to barehand it. That's coming in too fast.
Yeah, not a smart play off the bat of Cabrera.
Somebody from the lower level benefited because it ricocheted right off his hand and went right over the side. Cabrera made the final out of last night's ball game as he drove one to the left center gap that was caught by Blackman. Had that one drop, good chance Brennan Bosch would have scored and tied the ball game.
Well, the reason he was able to get to that, first of all, he got a good jump, but second, they just moved the outfielders back with the runner on first. They did not want to give up any doubles with the 2-run lead. Now, if it was just a 1-run lead, they would have stayed where they were. That ball might have fallen into the gap, but he was able to cut it off and preserve the win.
1-2 the count to Cabrera. Fouls that one off.
Ty Wigginton's just hugging the line at third base. He's playing like it's late in the ball game, playing the no doubles. You just don't see that very often in the first inning, but it just shows you what they think Miguel's going to do with that sinker from Aaron Cook.
This one right back up the middle off the glove of Cook. Tulowitzki has it, steps on the bag for the final out of the inning. We go to the bottom of the first. We're scoreless at Coors Field. Get sent for the bottom of the first inning. Couple kids enjoying the ball game with their dad here on Father's Day. In today's game, we're participating in the home run challenge, where every home run raises $22,000 for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by calling 800-798-CURE or by going online to pfc.org, pcf.org. Carlos Gonzalez will be leading things off for the Rockies. Currently has an 11-game hitting streak going. You take a look at the Rockies lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. You'll have Nelson in the 2 holes, homered in his last 2 ball games, the only 2 home runs of his major league career, followed by Helton, Tulowitzki, Smith, Wigginton, Blackman, and Matt Pagnazzi. And of course, Aaron Cook batting in the 9th spot. The Rockies facing Justin Verlander. Gonzalez swings at the first pitch and fouls it back.
Well, the numbers for Justin Verlander, impressive. Those 8 wins, tied for 3rd. Innings pitched, 2nd. Batting average against 185. That's 2nd in the American League. 105 strikeouts. Yep, 2nd in the American League. Throwing a no-hitter.
Yeah, and
pretty special pitcher.
His last 4 games, he's 4-0 with an ERA of .83. Teams are hitting 162 against him. He's thrown 32 2/3 innings, struck out 32, and walked 5.
That's the key, walking guy. A lot of power pitchers will walk a ton of guys because they can't locate that well. Justin Verlander is not that way. I saw Justin back when he first was drafted out of Old Dominion back in 2004. He was pitching for the Lakeland Tigers.
He was amazing then going against some A-ball players. It was a man against boys when he was just coming out of college. And from the Ultimo, the way he turns over that changeup, it fades away from left-handed hitters.
This battery mate is Alex Avila. The last 2 nights it's been Victor Martinez. Jim Leland trying to get both guys involved since Martinez is usually the DH. Ground ball is short. Walter with the throw and Gonzalez is out. Well, let's take you back to May 2nd of this season. Justin Verlander facing the Toronto Blue Jays as he racked up the second no-hitter of his career. Actually, May 7th. 30th pitcher to throw multiple no-hitters, and then they got the Gatorade bucket after the ball game.
Guess how hard the 106 pitch was of that no-hitter against Toronto? Triple digits.
Yeah, it was 100
miles an hour. Now, in his last outing against Cleveland, he did not hit triple digits then, but a lot of pitches that averaged over 95 miles an hour.
This one popped up towards the seats. Cabrera underneath it and puts it away. So it's a quick 2 outs for Verlander. And that'll bring up Todd Helton. Take a look at the Tigers defensively. Andy Dirksen left. Austin Jackson to center. Brennan Bosch in right. Around the infield, you got Don Kelly at third. Peralta, Rayburn, and Cabrera. And Alex Avila, who I just mentioned, is behind the plate. There's Todd Helton, who was 0 for 2 with a couple of walks last night. He fouls that one back. If you take the lineup card in the dugout, there was just a blank space there for a while. Helton's name nowhere to be found. Wigginton and those guys looking it over. And then it finally got inked in. And popped to the left side. Don Kelly has room and puts it away for the out. We're through 1 here at Coors Field. We're scoreless.
Field, top of the 2nd inning, no score. Hey, surprise, surprise. Jim Tracy's dad was a minor league pitcher, and he talked to us about him here on Father's Day.
He played in Americus, Georgia, back in the day in the Georgia-Florida League. And he also pitched in Muskogee, Oklahoma. Frazier would love that, wouldn't he? And he was with the New York Giants organization at the time. The interesting thing was Jack Sanford was his roommate. And Jack Sanford was 0-13, I think, or something like that year, and went on to have, obviously, a very, very nice career in the major leagues. And it just goes to show that, you know, they're looking for things other than just how many you win and how many you lose and stuff like that. And that has never, ever changed.
And you know what, Tom and Huey, I asked him who his father's favorite player was, and he said Pete Rose, and we've known that because he grew up in the Cincinnati area, guys.
All right, thank you, Mark. Avila with a single back up the middle. Yeah, went with Jim Tracy last year. We took a little road trip between the off day between Pittsburgh and New York when they're going to play the Mets, and me and Jim Tracy and Tracy Ringlesby piled into a car, went to the Hall of Fame, and when he got to the exhibit that had Pete Rose, he stopped, and you know, Cincinnati was important to him growing up in Ohio, out near Hamilton, Ohio.
It's always a fun thing to talk to people from different generations, ask who their favorite player was growing up, or who'd you enjoy watching or following. Every kid that's dreamed about playing baseball has had those.
Have you been to the Hall of Fame?
Yes, I have.
It is
a couple different times.
I mean, it is, and you see, you know, on Father's Day, it's fitting. You see fathers talking about the players they liked with their sons or daughters, and the sons and daughters talking about the players they currently like, and it is neat.
I was fortunate to play in a couple special games. Obviously, Cal Ripken's, a couple Nolan Ryan no-hitters, and to actually go to the Hall of Fame with my kids, and they see my name on the lineup card, and that's kind of fun for that bonding for us.
That is neat. This is Johnny Peralta, who had a grand slam in the first game of this series. And he hits a base hit to right field. Avila will hold up at second base, so the Tigers have runners at first and second with nobody out. That will bring up Andy Dirks.
Hey, check out the new Camarena loft located in center field. That's available for groups of up to 63 people. Call 303 Rockies for more information. Did a broadcast from out there earlier this year.
It was cold, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Beautiful today. It's overcast, but very pleasant day to watch baseball. Dirk sends this one down the right field line, and this one will bend into the seats.
Another good crowd today, too. Sellout last night, over 45,000 or
48,555 here last night.
Expecting another large crowd today.
Still some fans making their way to their seats. It's a scoreless ball game here in the top of the second.
They're just finishing their Father's Day brunch.
Sure. No rush.
No.
You're on Dad's time today.
Mm-hmm.
The 0-1 pitch. One misses.
Well, Troy was sneaking in. Troy Tulowitzki was sneaking in behind Alex Avila on that last pitch. They like to run that daylight play. Avila has a pretty large lead.
Dirks was 1 for 4 yesterday and hit into that 3-6-2 double play, which was a big point in the ball game early on.
They got Cabrera for the second ball game in a row. Tag out at home. That was just the fake to keep him close.
Yeah, nobody covering the bag, just scaring him back.
That's right. What it does is a base runner, it puts it in the back of your mind. They might do it so your weight is shifted more towards second than it is third. So if there is a base hit, you might keep him at third base and not score.
This one to Tulowitzki, flips it to Nelson for one. They will not get Dirks at first. He'll be safe, so one away, and the Tigers now have runners at the corner.
But smart for Troy to come get that ball and then flip it underhand as he was going towards first, but get the momentum going back towards second base, so you still have the double play in order. Gets it. Chris Nelson left foot on the bag. If you watch the pregame show, it kind of broke down how you turn double plays. Perfect execution. Jump out of the way. The runner's not even close. It's just Dirks hitting from the left side was quick to get down the line.
That'll bring up Ryan Rayburn. Rayburn had a 2 RBI double last night. And here he's got a base hit to the right side. That'll score Avila. Dirks is headed to third and he's safe. So the Tigers have a 1-0 lead.
Ryan Rayburn's kind of been a little thorn in the side of the Rockies. 2 RBIs last night, a single today for another RBI for a guy that's hitting 205 on the season. Takes a sinker down and away from him, hit it in that little hole between first and second. Don't try to pull it. Seth Smith, strong arm to try to get Dirks sliding into third. Pretty good speed.
So with 1 out and runners at the corner, the batter will be Justin Verlander, who is 0 for 16 in his career at the plate, and this will be his first plate appearance of 2011.
With 10 strikeouts. And I'm sure
when you rarely see that part of the batter's box,
yeah,
that's going to be a common occurrence.
The biggest fear for an American League team or American League manager is sending your pitcher up there that the bunting technique is not right, and you put your fingers at risk out towards the barrel of the bat, and then the ball sinks in and you get a broken finger.
He swings at the first pitch there.
Maybe he thought, I have a better chance if he swings away, of better chance of him not getting hurt.
He's probably not hip to the signs either, because he walked up the third baseline to talk with Gene Lamont to make sure exactly what it was that the coaching staff wanted him to do in this plate appearance.
I've just sometimes seen managers just yell out bunt, just so you know. Heck,
it really does take the surprise element out of it, doesn't it?
But the only thing, it still comes down to execution. If you execute a perfect bunt, he's going to sacrifice the runners up. For a guy that's not used to taking signs, don't overload him.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Now check on the runners.
Rayburn took a couple steps. I don't think he was stealing. He just thought he was going to try to get a secondary lead a little bit bigger.
Swing and a miss by Verlander. So the count now 0-2. Rayburn only has 1 stolen base this season in 1 attempt.
Well, it's not really the Tigers style at all. The only guy that steals bases is Austin Jackson. He has 12, but as a ball club, they've only stolen 27 bases.
Verlander gets a piece of that one. I love that Verlander looks down the third baseline at Lamont, and Lamont's not even looking at him.
He's got 2 strikes. What's he going to give him? Okay. Gene Lamont just
I've seen other guys
away.
look down there and you give them signals. I'm just taking a peek. It's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out. So with 2 away, the Tigers are back to the top of the order with Austin Jackson, who grounded out to Ty Wigington in his first at bat.
Right man at the right spot for the Rockies, and Austin Jackson just 152 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. on the season.
Well, that one fouled back. Said this is Aaron Cook's third start of the season. His first one was in San Diego. He went 5 2/3, gave up 6 hits, 3 earned runs. 2 of the 3 runs came in the 6th inning, and then his next outing was here at Coors Field against the Padres. Went 5 2/3 again, gave up 2 earned runs, but was only given 1 run of run support.
And both those times he threw 80 and 88 pitches in the ball game. He's looking to hit maybe the century mark today.
That one gets away, so Rayburn's going to move up to second base. And the Tigers now have 2 in scoring position with the count 1-2 to Jackson.
72-mile-an-hour curveball. Matt, known for his defense, perfect execution as far as dropping, rounding the shoulders, dropping to his knees. But Ryan Rayburn took off immediately with the runner at third. Matt wisely just held on to the baseball.
That one will be scored a wild pitch. Two and two as you hear quite a few groans from the Rockies fans. The 2-2 pitch. Ball 3.
Well, so far Aaron has thrown to Austin Jackson fastball, curveball, and slider.
Now we'll see what he brings here on the 3-2 pitch.
Something down and away from him.
Fouled off down the right field line.
We've seen Austin Jackson in this 3-game set be able to handle, for the most part, a fastball. It's been the curveballs, the sliders, changeups that have gotten him.
Here's the payoff pitch. And this one fouled down the right field line. Well, cameraman Charlie out there close to making that catch. It ends up a couple rows behind him.
That's dedication, being right in the action there for
Yeah.
Charlie.
Him, so the base is now loaded. Well, here's what the foul ball looked like coming at our cameraman, Charlie Felix. He did a pretty decent job of following it, too.
Especially with the sky the way it is today, the overcast.
Especially since I'd be curled up in the fetal position up against the wall, making sure it didn't hit me. There's Charlie, just your average cameraman sitting amongst the people.
Nothing average about Charlie.
Don Kelly with a fly ball to right field. Seth Smith underneath it. And that'll end the inning. But the Tigers pick up 3 hits and push one across. They lead at 1-0. for our AMCO clutch plays of the week. And we'll take you back to Tuesday. Chris Iannetta with a 3-run homer in the 6th inning. At that point, made it a 6-2 game. They went on to beat the San Diego Padres by a score of 6-3. On Friday, Charlie Blackmon had a 4-for-4 night, the first 4-hit game of his young major league career. And then Carlos Gonzalez off a Miguel Ordonez single throws out Miguel Cabrera at the plate. Clutch plays of the week are brought to you by AMCO AA MCO.
I was ready to give the beep beep. You just didn't give me long enough.
I'll try it again. AA
Beep beep.
MCO.
There we go.
There you go. Troy Tulowitzki to lead things off in the bottom of the 2nd for the Rockies. Tigers with a 1-0 lead. They're 28-15 this season when scoring first, and they have scored first in 43 of 71 games.
Well, the first 3 guys to face Verlander swung at the first pitch. Troy did not.
And now the count 2-0. And that first inning, Gonzalez grounded out to short. Chris Nelson popped it foul down the first base side to Cabrera, and Todd Helton popped it foul to the third base side to Kelly. And the count now 3-0 to Tulowitzki.
Pretty impressive ranks for Justin Verlander across the board. Talking to a scout earlier today from the Yankees, Rick Williams, son of Dick Williams, former manager, is talking about Verlander. And last year he'd had Felix Hernandez of the Seattle Mariners listed above him as number 1. Verlander was number 2. So this year, no, they're flip-flopped.
And here's a base hit to left field for Tulowitzki. So the Rockies have their first base hit of the ball game. Time now for our Geico quote of the day. My father looked at the check and then told the scout, throw in another 100 and you can take the rest of the family. That's former baseball player Joe Dugan, who signed a $500 contract in the early 1920s.
Thanks, Dad. Happy Father's Day.
It's perfect for Father's Day. Here comes Seth Smith, who's got a .528 slugging percentage, which is 7th in the National League. Of course, Matt Kemp, who's having a great season for the Dodgers, hitting .627, his slugging percentage.
Verlander, for a guy that throws very hard, pretty quick to the plate, even with a little bit of a higher leg kick, and Alex Avila behind the plate has thrown out 40% of the runners. And you can tell he's got quick feet just from that throw over to first base.
And what may surprise some is that Justin Verlander doesn't even have the most wins on this pitching staff. That belongs to Max Scherzer, who's got 9 wins.
Scherzer just won the other day.
Yeah, against Cleveland.
Against Cleveland before the Tigers came here. Tigers trying to catch Cleveland now. They flip-flopped in the division since this series started back on Friday. Cleveland with the 1-game lead. They're in delay against Pittsburgh as we speak.
Well, that ball gets away. Tulowitzki's going to move on to second base. Cabrera with the throw, and it's not in time.
This caught Troy. That throw, we'll have to take a look to see where it got him, but that caused the ricochet over towards the first base dugout. We'll try to do the quick snap throw again. Looked like it caught him right on the right side, maybe the rib stomach area. Advanced on the air from Verlander. That's Justin Verlander's 4th air this season.
So now you've got Tulowitzki at second. The count 0-2 to Smith. He'll step out of the box. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That one misses for a ball.
Take another look on that pickoff. Yeah, right. Maybe up higher in the shoulder. It looked like watching it the first time was in the ribs.
And then the ball actually took a pretty good bounce off the screen back to Cabrera to give him a shot to even try and throw out Tulowitzki.
Yeah, there's a little netting down at the bottom of the dugout wall or fencing by it, and that's what it kicked back.
It's going to grounder to Cabrera. He'll step on the bag. Tulowitzki will move up to third base. Well, Justin Verlander came close to a no-hitter in his last start against Cleveland back on the 14th. Went 7 1/3 before he finally gave up a base hit up the middle on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Ended up giving up a pair of hits. The Tigers picked up the win, and Verlander picked up his 8th win of the season.
He threw 29 curveballs in that game. 18 of them were called strikes.
Here's Ty Wigington. He had hit .203 in 23 career games against the Tigers coming into this series. He's 3 for 7 in the series.
Tigers are playing their infield in.
That one fouled back. Look at Ty Wigington over the last 4 games. He was 2 for 4 last night. Had a double, scored 3 runs in the first game of this series. He's turned it on.
Well, since he came back from that DL injury with the strained oblique, he's hitting over 280. 4 home runs.
Yeah, he's hitting 283, 10 doubles, a triple, 4 home runs, 13 runs driven in. Has scored 18 runs. That's all since May 13th.
Well, he's playing every day. Once he came back, he got healthy.
But that's the reason he's playing every day.
Because he's hitting. Funny how that works. Pretty easy to pencil your name in the lineup if you're a manager. So many times people say, well, the manager didn't put me in the lineup. The players write the lineup. If you're hitting,
right,
he's going to write your name in there.
Case in point, Chris Nelson, who they talked about in the Rockies pregame report.
Yep.
That got him. So Wigington strikes out. There's 2 away.
This is almost like the slider that Verlander threw in the final pitch of the Toronto no-hitter. The slider that starts on the outside part and breaks about 6 or 8 inches, and you just can't stop your swing.
That'll bring up Charlie Blackmon. All he's done since getting called up over the last 11 games is hit .381, drive in 6 runs, steal 5 bases, and play solid defensively.
Well, he's even better with runners in scoring position, .438 average.
He's got a chance here to try and even this one up with Tulowitzki at third. 1-1 the count. Blackmon, born in Dallas, Texas, grew up in Atlanta, went to Georgia Tech. Said, I'm a big guy, but I used to see Calvin Johnson walk around campus. He goes, his hip comes up to about my chest.
You don't realize how tall Charlie is until you stand next to him. He's about 6'4".
Yeah.
And that's why he's got those long legs, long strides.
There's a grounder to second. Rayburn with the throw, and that'll do it. We head to the top of the third. Tigers lead it 1-0. Dad's along. Jim Tracy talked about it earlier.
I've been involved in a lot of things over the course of 10 years as a major league manager, but this may be, hey, listen, I know the wives aren't happy, and I ain't going there. But the fact of having the opportunity for them to be with their dads, I think it's one of the neatest things I've seen managing in the big leagues for 10 years. I can honestly tell you this. I wish my guy could be sitting next to me today. I know that. I really, really do.
So when the Rockies get on the plane after the ball game for Cleveland, their dads will be with them. Now Brendan Bosch gets hit there. He didn't so much as flinch.
That's why I don't like those elbow guards, because he took it right off the elbow. Guard didn't hurt him. He went down to first. If you're going to stand that close to the plate, take the thing off. I didn't like it when Barry Bonds wore it. I don't like it right now. That's one thing I'd outlaw if I was manager or the commissioner for a day.
But I mean, it is protective gear. Otherwise, he's wearing one on his elbow,
what?
isn't he? Rub some dirt on it.
I can understand the ones down by the ankles,
right,
but not the ones on the elbows. Craig Biggio, how many times did he get hit on the elbow wearing that? A ton.
Yeah.
You can tell I don't like that.
I do. I am sensing something.
It?
I mean,
yeah.
Quit beating around the bush. How do you really feel about those? As Miguel Cabrera comes up with his elbow pad. This one down the left field line. Bosch will dig in for third. Cabrera's headed for second. And that's where Bosch will hold up. So you got Bosch at third, Cabrera with a double. There's two on with nobody out.
We got Cabrera last time with a 1-6 unassisted to end the inning. This time lines the first pitch that he sees from Aaron Cook over the head of Ty Wigington at third base. Wise play from Gene Lamont to hold up Brennan at third. As many guys that they've had thrown out at the plate, knowing Troy's arm.
Cabrera now has a 9-game hitting streak. That'll bring up Alex Avila, who singled and scored back in the second. He scored on an RBI single by Ryan Rayburn. And he'll look at a first pitch strike. Tigers have 5 hits on the afternoon. They had 3 in that second inning.
Well, in the first 2 ball games, they had left 17 runners on base. For the first 2 innings today, 4 guys.
The count now 2-1. This is the first game in this series in which Avila has started behind the plate. They use Victor Martinez, who's usually the Tigers' DH, behind the plate. They started Avila at third in that first game. Avila played third with the Alabama Crimson Tide, so he wasn't unfamiliar with that spot, and it worked for a couple weeks to be ready. Swing and a miss there to make it 2-2.
But he did have an error over there that helped the Rockies score 3 runs. Jim Leyland's trying to get guys some playing time, but also rest, because they have 3 more games in the National League against the Dodgers after today.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fly ball to left field. Blackman chases it down, makes the catch. Bosch will tag up and score, and the Tigers have a 2-0 lead. Today's E470 The Road Ahead is brought to you by E470. Find E470 on Facebook for details on how to win free tolls. Well, next up, it's the trip to Cleveland. It's 3 there, and then 3 against the Yankees. And then after that Yankee game, they'll stop by the north side of Chicago for 1 against the Cubs. And then it's back home to finish up interleague play with a series against the White Sox and then a series against the Kansas City Royals. Johnny Peralta.
Be interesting to see how the Cleveland Indians respond. They fired their hitting coach, John Nunnally, today.
And they hired a guy that was in the Detroit organization for a while, Bruce Fields.
Their hitting coordinator, their minor league hitting coordinator. And that's with the team that's in first place.
Take a look at the scouting report on the Cleveland Indians. As Jeff said earlier, they're playing Pittsburgh right now, wrapping up that series. It's 2-2. That game's delayed due to weather. And the Indians currently have a 1-game lead in the AL Central over the Tigers.
Pretty good shortstop in Asdrubal Cabrera.
And if I remember correctly, people excited about this Indians team. That city hasn't won a championship of any kind since 1964 in any sport, any major sport.
Well, the Broncos have had something to do with that. LeBron leaving. He didn't win there either. So
I don't think the name Elway is as popular there as it is in these parts. Foul.
Well, not with the drive and the mistake by the lake in Cleveland. Well, the Rockies will see Fausto Carmona tomorrow night. Mitch Talbot, another right-hander, on Tuesday, and Josh Tomlin on Wednesday.
Peralta has 6 RBI in his last 3 games. Swing and a miss there as he strikes out. So with 2 away and a runner at second, that'll bring up Andy Dirks.
Well, going for the Rockies in that Cleveland series is Juan Nicasio. Neil Lease will toe the rubber the second night, followed up by Jason Hamill. And I know we touched on it in the pregame show about Ubaldo Jimenez. He's going to be fine to make his start on Friday.
Here's a base hit up the middle. Cabrera rounding third. There'll be no throw to the plate this time. He'll score. And it's 3-0 Tigers.
A breaking pitch that didn't go down as much as Aaron wanted. More of a floater going up. Dirks stays on it, it hits it right back up the middle. Alan Porter, young rookie umpire, had to duck and dive to get out of the way.
So with Dirks at first, Ryan Rayburn up. He singled and drove in a run in the second inning. Tigers have 6 hits off of Aaron Cook so far in this ball game. Glad you're joining us on this Father's Day. Tom Helmer, Jeff Houston, and Mark Stout with you from a full house here at Coors Field. Rockies trying to complete the sweep of the Tigers. Tigers making it tough as they've scored 3 runs here in the early going, 1 in the second and 2 so far here in the third. There's a swing and a miss for a strike.
They're going to have to battle because Justin Verlander's out on the hill. He does not need much of a lead. In his 3 day starts this year, 188 average. Opponents just hitting 115 against him.
1-2 pitch, and he struck him out. The Tigers pick up a couple hits and a couple runs. They lead it 3-0. Marked out with today's Fast Cash Sideline Report, brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Mark?
Rockies fans, this is Ryan Spilborgh's dad, Renee. As he waves hi, we listen to Ryan tell us how he helped him become a big leaguer.
Came up with this drill like in high school, and you know, because my dad blew out his arm playing throwing me tennis balls while I was growing up, so we had to think of something different. And we came up with, at first it started with bottle caps. He'd flick these bottle caps at me, and I used like the equivalent of a broomstick and whack them. And then we graduated from the bottle caps because they would kind of float around to, you know, it was unorthodox, and you didn't really know where the bottle cap was going to go. So we wanted something that you could throw more strikes with.
Yeah, so that bottle cap got away
to
from
pick
you
him up.
a couple of times. So there's Mr. Spilborgh's Happy Father's Day, everybody. Back to Tom and you. Yes.
All right, thank you, Mark. Certainly unorthodox, the bottle caps. Those are really sail on you too if you do it right.
You know, with a little wind, that bottle cap's gonna take off.
I guess I just assumed they were doing it indoors, but I guess outside.
Probably outside.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's frowned upon to play ball indoors.
It can be if mom's around. Swing and a miss by Pagnazzi.
Well, Matt's the 424th player to appear for the Rockies all time.
And you see his numbers. AAA this year hit 275. 30 games down there. Pagnazzi called up after Jose Morales broke his thumb on Wednesday on a foul tip that hit him right in the throwing hand.
Yeah, we wish Jose the best. He has scheduled for surgery tomorrow.
Pagnazzi strikes out. That'll be the first down of the inning, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Aaron Cook. Cook's 1 for 5 on the season at the plate. He's a guy that can swing the bat. He's a good hitting pitcher.
Jim Tracy's used him before as a pinch hitter early in a ball game if he wants to save some of his other guys late or send him up to bunt. We've seen him
pinch run
before.
He looks at a first pitch strike. Verlander has thrown 33 pitches so far, 21 of them strikes.
Well, and he has 3 or more runs of run support. He's 84 and 13 in his career.
Say that again?
84 and 13 in his career when he gets 3 or more runs.
Wow. So to your point earlier, he doesn't need a whole lot of run support to get the job done. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And Cook strikes out looking. So Verlander has retired the last 5. Time for today's CenturyLink high-speed pitch. Justin Verlander has hit 96 on the radar gun so far. Aaron Cook has hit 90. Verlander's a guy too that can pick up momentum as the ball game goes on and increase that velocity.
Kind of conserves a little bit early in the game, where conserving at 94, 95, okay. Yeah. But when he needs to reach back and get some more extra, he can do that. He can jump it up. Not many pitchers can do that.
Well, when you're in the last game against Cleveland in the 8th inning, you hit 99, or the no-hitter as he did against Toronto, you're hitting 100 in the 9th inning.
Most of the time, guys will be backing off velocity at that point.
Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Not a customer? See a Wells Fargo banker today for details. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. It's the 1-1 pitch. Gonzalez fouls that one off. Gonzalez was sitting at his locker today in the corner of the clubhouse looking up at the monitor. And there was some video up there of Justin Verlander pitching against the Yankees. He just mumbled, really good curveball.
And I was interested to see how that curveball would play out at altitude.
Yeah.
I could see it at Comerica Park back in Detroit. A little heavier air, but at the thinner air, was it going to have the same bite?
This one popped up. Kelly's going to get underneath it and put it away. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Verlander. We head to the top of the 4th, 3-0 Tigers. Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. The new Quest 5-year price lock promise. Visit quest.com/promise for details. AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. The Courtyard by Marriott on the 16th Street Mall. Ask about our hometown sports package. And by King Soopers, more value for the way you live. Welcome back to Coors Field as we get set for the top of the 4th inning. It's a 3-0 ball game in favor of the Tigers. All season long, join us for Toyota Talk. Text your comments during the game and see what you and fellow Rockies fans have on their mind about their favorite team. Text Toyota followed by a space and then your comment to 720-720. You can follow everyone's comments live during the 6th inning and the entire Toyota postgame show. Standard message and data rates may apply. And since it's Father's Day, we thought maybe you'd text and tell us who your father's favorite ball player was. Whoa, that one inside. Out there.
Did he know what number you were?
He knew the number. At last check, he thinks I'm a PA announcer. He came down to spring training. He goes, so you're the guy that goes, batting next, number. I go, no, Dad, that's the public address announcer. He goes, oh, that's right, you're on the radio. I'm not. I don't have time to explain this.
He's not listening today, is he?
Now, this one's blacked out back in the Detroit area. Here's one down the right field line by Kelly. Jackson headed for third base. Smith will scoop it up. They're waving Jackson around. He'll score. Kelly into third, and he's got himself a stand-up triple.
First triple on the year for Don Kelly. 9th RBI. He hooks a ball that missed the location from Aaron Cook. Wanted it away. Came back in the sweet spot of a left-hander swing. You just drop the barrel in there. This is about as easy as it gets for Don Kelly. Tall guy. You don't have to do a whole lot with your hands, but just throw the barrel to that ball.
Well, Kelly had his eye on Gene Lamont the whole way. Lamont was waving him through to third base. So the Tigers have a 4-0 lead. A man at third, one out. Here's Brennan Bosch. who has a single and then was hit by a pitch. And he pops this one up. Tulowitzki underneath it, puts it away for the second out of the inning. Time now for our AT&T trivia question. Justin Verlander has 2 career no-hitters. Who are the other 2 active pitchers with multiple no-hitters? As always, no looking it up. Dwell on it. Ask your dad. Dads, ask your kids.
Yes. Clayton Mortensen, after that last triple from Don Kelly, quickly grabbed the baseball, got loose, and he's out tossing.
Well, the Tigers had 1 hit in the first inning. They've had multiple hits in every inning since. They had 3 in the second, 2 in the third, and they have 2 so far here in the fourth. And now you got to deal with Miguel Cabrera, who's already doubled and scored a run today. It's the 1-0 pitch. This one fouled on the third baseline. The count now 1-2.
Remember when this kid first came up and playing some third base? He's grown into a first baseman's body.
Pitch a ball. Cabrera is hitting .426 with runners in scoring position, which is second best in the American League. Cook's been working him low and inside.
Trying to keep him from getting his arms extended.
There's one to right field, and it's right to Seth Smith. The Tigers pick up 2 more hits and another run. They lead it 4-0 as we head to the bottom of the fourth. McDonald's Big Mac Smack. We take you back to game 1 of this series. Chris Nelson with a 3-run homer in the second inning. First home run of his major league career. Then last night in the 6th inning hits a solo home run 2 homers in 2 games for a guy who had no home runs in his career coming into the series, and he got that first home run ball back, which is nice. Text McD to 720-720 and get 1 free Egg McMuffin or Big Mac with the purchase of any drink valid at participating McDonald's. I'm loving it. Chris Nelson leading things off for the Rockies here in the bottom half of the 4th. Rockies only have 1 hit in the ball game so far. That came back in the 2nd inning when Troy Tulowitzki led off the inning with a single.
On just 41 pitches, now 42 pitches for Verlander. Back-to-back curveballs at 78 miles an hour. As a hitter, you're not sure what's coming now. Is it going to be another 78 or is it going to be 95? You want to throw the hard slider away from me? What are you going to throw?
Pops this one up. 3
curveballs in a row.
Rayburn underneath it, and he puts it away for the first out of the inning. Time now to answer our trivia question. We'd ask you, who are the other 2 active pitchers with multiple no-hitters? And the answers are kind of one where you go, oh yeah, Roy Halladay.
Well, yeah, that was an obvious one.
And Mark Buehrle.
Rockies might have a chance to see Buehrle in a couple weeks, depending on the rotation, when the White Sox come to town.
I don't know if might have a chance is the exact exciting.
No, I didn't mean it. Might have it. Just the way the rotation stacks up. You're not sure if he's going to be one of the 3 guys that pitches in that series.
Here's Todd Helton. There's the first pitch ball. Roy Halladay and Mark Buehrle, you see their numbers.
Still remember the play that Buehrle made opening day last year.
It was like the play of the year, and he did it first day of the season.
Play of the decade.
Well, now you're just talking crazy. Swing and a miss by Helton. Helton came into the day batting .314, 7th best in the National League. That one a ball. Jose Reyes hitting .343. We saw him earlier in the season. Let's look at Todd Helton's interleague numbers. There's one to right center field. Bosch over makes the catch, and there's 2 away.
Just missed it off the end ever so slightly.
Well, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. And in honor of Father's Day, Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy sits down with players and finds out what kind of influence their dads had on their career. And the skipper lets us in on the best piece of advice his dad ever gave him and what advice he has passed down to his sons. It's all on Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy today after the ball game. Well, other than Tulowitzki's single in the 2nd, that fly ball by Helton is the only other ball that has left the infield off Jason Verlander.
Well, even the balls that were in the infield were not hit hard. Couple jam shots off the end. You knew going into this game that it was going to be one of those games is you're going to have to be on top of it because you knew Verlander would be on top of his game.
Here's the 0-2 pitch from Verlander. And on a ball.
Hey fans, you can get your tickets for the July 1st game and stay for the post-game fireworks courtesy of Lockheed Martin. Fireworks games always go quickly, so make sure you get your tickets today at ColoradoRockies.com, King Supers, all the usual places. Call 303-ROCKIES for more information.
Kansas City Royals will be in town as the Rockies wrap up interleague play that weekend.
And maybe a chance to see Jeff Francis pitch.
Yeah. It'd be good to see Jeff Francis. The 2-2 pitch to Tulowitzki, and he struck him out. He's retired 9 straight. As we head to the 5th, it's 4-0. Who wants tacos? Fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more runs for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Alex Avila will lead things off for the Tigers here in the 5th. Singled in the 2nd, scored a run, and hit a sac fly to left in the 3rd. It scored Bosch. Verlander's been a little more economical with his pitches through the first 4 innings of this game. Avila with a grounder to the right side. Cook picks it up, and he'll put the tag on for the first down of the inning. That'll bring up Johnny Peralta. Don't forget about Toyota Text coming up in the 6th inning. And Jeff, you had said DiMaggio for your dad. I said my dad, not really a sports fan, but my wife is at the game today with her dad. And for him, it was Mickey Mantle.
Pretty good choices.
Good choice, yeah. And it's interesting, though, that he grew up with Mickey Stanley. And Mickey Stanley was a Rookie of the Year for the Tigers.
So how about we do that for our Toyota talk? That's what we're doing?
Right, yeah. Who's your dad's favorite player? Right?
I like that one.
That one's fouled back. The count 1-1 to Peralta. Peralta had a pair of hits in the first game of the series, including a grand slam. Had a pair of hits last night as he went 2 for 4. He's enjoyed hitting here at Coors Field.
It solidified that shortstop position for the Tigers. Carlos Guillen for a while was trying to do it. Then he had microfracture surgery. Started this year.
That's the thing. The Tigers are down a couple guys. Guillen at second base. Brandon Inge, who's doing a rehab assignment at AAA Toledo, was out with mono. So Jim Leland has had to patch together the lineup a little bit. This one popped up. Cook calls for it. And Cook has made the first 2 outs of this inning himself in the field.
What a broken bat off the bat of Peralta.
That'll bring up Andy Dirks, who had an RBI single in the 3rd to drive in Cabrera. It's been about the only time Cabrera's made it to home plate in this series where the ball didn't beat him there. He's been thrown out twice.
Yep. A relay from Troy, Carlos Gonzalez in center field.
The 1-0 pitch from Cook.
Hey fans, help send your favorite Rockies to this year's All-Star game in Phoenix. You can vote today at ColoradoRockies.com. And remember, you can vote up to 25 times. So help send some of the Rockies players there.
Nelson flips it over to Helton in time for the out. So 1-2-3 inning for Aaron Cook. We head to the bottom of the 5th. The Rockies looking for some runs as they trail 4-0.
Going bottom 5. Chris Ionetta's dad, Dominic, is in town. He'll be on that trip we talked about heading east to Cleveland and New York. I said, who's your favorite baseball player of all time? Said, I wasn't a baseball guy. Grew up in Providence. He's been to Fenway Park, guys, one time. The sport that he excelled at in high school, javelin. He was a javelin thrower. But he did hang out with Chris Ionetta, and he said every day when Chris came home from school and he got home from work, they threw the ball every day. At that point, Ionetta, by the way, was a third baseman. And when he was in Little League, a kid broke his hand. They put him behind the plate, and now he's a catcher. But his dad is here, too, Tom and Huey.
That's a great story.
Yeah, he was around the batting cage earlier today.
This is Seth Smith at the plate, who's hitting .338 against right-handed pitchers this season. Verlander has retired 12 of the first 13 Rockies hitters in this ball game. Smith with a grounder to short. Peralta to first. There's one away. But with that father-son trip going back to Ohio, not far from Canton, the team has the option. They can wear football jerseys on this trip today, on the trip out. So everybody's got their jerseys of some of their favorite teams hanging. I asked Carlos Gonzalez, what about you? No, nothing. I'm just going to wear a shirt. There's a strike to Wigginton.
Yeah, that is a neat thing that the Rockies are doing with the fathers and the sons. I've never seen it before, never heard of it in baseball. To bring your dads along. Let them in. Uh-oh, here we go.
Wigginton to deep left field. This one way back, and it's gone. A solo home run. It's a 4-1 ball game.
There was no doubt about this once Ty hit it. To go inside with the fastball, dropped that right back elbow down into a nice hitting slot, pulled the hands in. Just a matter of how far it would fly. #150th home run of Ty's career.
So the Rockies are on the board. That brings up Charlie Blackmon. He swings at the first pitch, and that's a base hit through the left side.
This one is hit right on the label, if not closer down towards the hands, but with a good bat path through the zone. Even though he got jammed, with the way Don Kelly was playing in over at third base, got by him. Just kind of a squib hit into left field. You'll take it if you're Charlie Blackmon.
I'll bring up Matt Pagnozzi.
Clayton Mortensen, now with the pitcher spot due up next, is backing up and throwing again. Aaron Cook's on the on-deck circle, but if there's more traffic out there, Jim's going to take a chance and go with the pinch hitter.
Swing and a miss by Pagnozzi. The Rockies currently have 3 hits in this ball game. In Verlander's 180 career starts, he's allowed 3 or fewer hits 22 times. That ball gets away. Blackmon moving on to second base. The throw from Cabrera.
Got him.
And they got him. Very similar to the Tulowitzki play we saw in the second inning.
That ball just did not go as far away. Tried another snap throw that was off the mark, but this time Cabrera just had to go get it and pick it up with the bare hand. It didn't go all the way over by the dugout like Troy's did. And then the swipe tag from Johnny Peralta on the hip.
That's a liner right to second base. Rayburn gloves it, and that'll take care of business here in the 5th. But the Rockies do get a run off a solo home run by Ty Wigington. It's 4-1 as we head to the top of the 6th. Back. Tigers got on the board in the 2nd inning. Ryan Rayburn with a single that scored Alex Avila to make it a 1-0 ball game. It was 2-0 in the 3rd when Andy Dirks hit an RBI single to score Miguel Cabrera. The Tigers added one more in the 4th when Don Kelly tripled to score Austin Jackson. That made it a 4-0 ball game. The Rockies got on the board in the 5th. Ty Wigington swings at the first pitch he sees, a solo home run to left field, his 7th of the season. And it's a 4-1 ball game. That's brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. This is Rayburn leading things off for the Tigers here in the 6th. His dad's favorite player, Ricky Henderson. Did you play with Ricky? You played against Ricky?
I played against him. I actually made a play in Nolan Ryan's 6-0 hitter against Ricky with 1 out in the 9th.
Ooh, Roberto Clemente and Larry Walker. That person has a dad like me. Their favorite player is Todd Helton. Their dad didn't watch any baseball either. It's all good. John Rocker. Yeah, he came in from the bullpen flying.
Pete Rose.
Yeah, we talked about him a little bit. The big cat, Andres Galarraga.
He had a birthday yesterday.
Turned 50. Now the Rayburn walk brings up Justin Verlander, who flew out the right field in his last at bat. He's getting set to lay down the bunt.
Raleigh Fingers.
The greatest mustache in baseball history.
That handlebar mustache.
Larry Walker. Tom Seaver, yes. Named my brother Nolan after the great fireballer Shane.
Well, my youngest son Cody, his middle name is Ryan, named after Nolan Ryan.
Greg Maddux. Lenny Dykstra.
He's fallen on some hard times.
He has. But he was fun to watch. 2 strikes now to Verlander as he's having trouble getting the bunt down. He said something back to the dugout, but I don't know what that could be. I'm doing my best down here.
I'm trying, Skip.
After some thought, my dad decided on Todd Helton. It's a good pick. And Ted Williams. Boy, he'd have been fun to watch. Well, Verlander tried, but he couldn't get the bunt down, and he's out.
Mike Oquist. Trying hard. The Ultimo just reached for it too much. It's not an easy thing to do if the only time you're doing it is about 10 days to a week before you're asked to do it at the major league level. We got a Gil Hodges spotted. Number 14.
This is Austin Jackson, who singled and scored in the 4th on the Don Kelly triple. A lot of people enjoying the ball game this afternoon with their dads. And to Wigington, to Nelson for 1, throw to first in time for the double play. We head to the bottom half of the 6th. It's 4-1 Tigers. Coors Light Freeze Cam. Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. A lot of kids enjoying the ball game today with their dads, whether they're strapped on or sitting next to them. An enjoyable experience for all. It'd be a little more enjoyable if the Rockies could turn it on here. They're down 4-1. It's brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. The day is done for Aaron Cook, as Eric Young Jr. is on deck and will bat in Cook's spot to lead things off here in the bottom half of the 6th. Rex Brothers is up in the bullpen.
Well, they had Clayton Mortensen up twice. Now he's not going to come into the ballgame. You sit him back down, you start to reshuffle your bullpen with a couple left-handers starting next inning for the Tigers. Get Rex Brothers going.
Young came into pinch hit in last night's game in the 8th, drew a walk, and then stole second base. E.Y. Jr.'s 0 for 6 as a pinch hitter this year, and the task doesn't get any easier here.
That's Eric Young today before the ball game to talk to your dad today. Wish him a happy birthday, or a happy Father's Day, excuse me. He said, yep, talk to him every single day. A lot of Rockies fans remember his dad, obviously, Eric Young Sr.
This one popped down the third baseline. And it's put away by Dirks. Looking to save energy and money? Find out how the little changes add up at TogetherWeSave.com, your local Touchstone Energy cooperative delivering reliable power, energy saving tools, and more. Carlos Gonzalez will step in. He's 0 for 2 this afternoon. Looks at a first pitch strike.
Final line for Aaron Cook. 6 innings, 4 hits. Or 8 hits, 4 runs, 4 strikeouts.
Gonzalez with a fly ball to very shallow center field. In fact, second baseman Ryan Rayburn gets underneath it, and there's 2 away. Oh! Hit Dad in the leg, too. Or Grandpa. We don't know. We don't know how he's rolling. I just gave it back to him. If you think I'm going to go up there and buy another one, you're nuts. I don't think the 5-second rule applies to ice cream, does it?
Well, and at the ballpark, maybe at home.
I don't care if it's anywhere.
Not with
Nelson, fly ball to right field. Bosch underneath, puts it away. And it's a 1-2-3 inning. Well, enjoy your ice cream, kid. It's got a little extra something on it now. We head to the 7th inning. High efficiency inning brought to you by Xcel Energy. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save energy and money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. The 5th one, a very efficient one for Aaron Cook, who got Alex Avila to ground out, Johnny Peralta to pop out, and then got Andy Dirks to ground it to second. 1-2-3 inning for Cook, who's done for the day. Rex Brothers will now be on the hill for Colorado.
Rex has not pitched since the 14th, a game against the San Diego Padres. It was a game he went 1 1/3 inning, had a couple strikeouts. Left-handers in his early career at the major league level hitting 167 off of Rex. We'll get a couple to start with, and Don Kelly and Brennan Bosch.
Kelly tripled in his last at bat and drove in Austin Jackson for the Tigers' 4th run of the afternoon. There's one just over the head of Tulowitzki. That one will be a base hit. Well, this replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. 2 people will become millionaires in the July 1st bonus millionaire raffle drawing. Buy your tickets today. There's that triple I mentioned in the 4th inning that allowed Austin Jackson to score. First triple of the season for Don Kelly. So with 1 on and nobody out, that'll bring up Brendan Bosch, who's 1 for 2, had a single, also got hit by a pitch, and scored a run in the 3rd.
Brendan in his last 16 ball games hitting close to 400.
Foul towards the Tigers dugout. After the Tigers get done here, it's off to LA, where they'll start a 3-game series with the Dodgers tomorrow. Then they'll go back to Detroit. Arizona will come in for 3. They've got a makeup game with Toronto, and then it's 3 against the New York Mets to wrap up interleague play for them. Bosch has been tough on the lefties. Rex Brothers, for the most part, has been tough on everybody.
He just gave up his second hit a moment ago to Don Kelly. Second hit to left-handers this year.
Now there's a base hit through the right side. Kelly will hold up at second base. It's missed by Smith. Kelly will push to third. Bosch to second. They're waving Kelly home. Bosch to third, where he'll hold up. A run scores, and the Tigers have a 5-1 lead.
It's going to be ruled a single and then an E9 on Seth Smith. First error of the season for Seth. Chopper in the hole between first and second. That top spin. Seth comes in. Just picked his head up too soon. Did not look it all the way into his glove. Watch where his head goes. He's already starting to look, and the glove gets behind his head, so his eyes are looking out in front. And that last foot, we've talked about balls at the big league level snaking in that grass, and that's what that ball did. And if you don't have your glove out in front of you, you lose the last 2 feet.
Seth Smith couldn't believe it himself and had to turn and retrieve the ball.
That's a lonely run after a ball.
Yeah, Kelly had already stopped at second base and then turned it on. Gene Lamont waved him through. So you've got Bosch at third base, nobody out. Miguel Cabrera at the plate. And the Tigers, like they've done most of this series, they've not had trouble getting hits. They've got 10 in this ball game. They had 23 in the series coming into this one.
Well, it was driving the guys in once they got the base hit. 17 guys left on base in the first 2 ball games. Well, they're not leaving them out there today. 2 for 8 in this game with runners in scoring position.
The count now 3-0 to Cabrera. Windshield damage? Call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com. Tagnazzi, a quick meeting with Brothers. The 3-0 pitch. And he walks him on 4 straight pitches. He's going to bring Bob Apodaca out of the dugout. And Mortensen looks like he's going to get hot again.
Well, you don't want Rex Brothers to throw too many pitches, so he's not available again for tomorrow's game. Starting tomorrow and for the rest of the week, Jim Tracy will have use of the DH. Which will be nice. You can get Jason Giambi in there for 3 games in Cleveland and then give him a day off with a day off in New York before you play again Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And with Monday being an off day, or a National League game, I should say, you can kind of rebalance things again.
Well, Jason Giambi has really good interleague numbers, and certainly it'll be a headline when he heads back into the Bronx against the Yankees. Here's Alex Avila. Runners at the corner, nobody out. Bosch is at third, Cabrera at first. That one misses, 1-1.
The infielders, Chris Nelson, Troy Tulowitzki, playing in even closer than double play depth, which you normally would, because if it's a soft hit ground ball, you might come home to try to cut off that 6th run. You don't feel like you have a chance to turn the double play.
That one gets away. Here comes Bosch home. Play at the plate. Didn't get him as the ball kicks away. Cabrera will move over to third base. And Rex Brothers is looking at his right arm.
He got spiked on that play. And that's why that ball came out of his glove. He got spiked right on the forearm. They're going to have to take him out of the game as we see the replay. The ball gets by Pagnassi, and they came in, and it wasn't a high spike. He was just going for the plate, and his arm was there. He immediately looks down. See, that spike just came up the way his momentum went back.
And he immediately looked at his arm as he went after the baseball. And then Keith Duggar, the trainer, came out to take a look, put a towel on it immediately, and told Jim Tracy that he's got to come out of the game right now. So with that, Clayton Mortensen will jog in from the bullpen. He'll have as much time as he needs to get ready. Tigers have a 6-1 lead and a runner at third with nobody out. Starting your child's college Invest savings account when they're young helps you to prepare financially for when that day arrives. It only takes 10 minutes to get started at collegeinvest.org. Welcome back to Coors Field. You see the infielders talking. Jonathan Herrera now into the ball game. He'll be playing at second base. And Clayton Mortensen now on the hill. You saw him Friday as he pitched a scoreless ninth against the Tigers.
Well, he's a long guy for Jim Tracy out of that bullpen since they moved him out of the rotation. Nicasio's taken his starts, but a very, very valuable member because you can get him up multiple times. Clayton has already been up twice before he comes in. And with the double switch with Jonathan, Clayton will go into Chris Nelson's spot in the batting order, which is number 2. Hopes that he can eat up some of the innings that are left in this game.
Well, it's time now for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. We take you to the 5th inning. Ty Wigington. First pitch he sees from Justin Verlander. Solo home run. It's been the only run the Rockies have been able to put on the board this afternoon as they trail 6-1 here in the top of the 7th inning. So as Mortensen comes in, he'll be facing Alex Avila and inherit a 1-2 count. Miguel Cabrera at third base. Avila's hitting .309 with runners in scoring position.
You have to bring the infield in a little bit, not all the way in onto the grass, because Cabrera could not run, so you give yourself a little bit more range.
It's the 1-2 pitch. And this one is going to be a base hit to left field. Cabrera will score, and the Tigers have a 7-1 lead. Oh, we talked about Ty Wigington and his home run. If you missed the Rockies pregame report today, you saw an interview that Tracy Ringlesby did with Ty and his wife, talking about the birth of their second child. And the child came early. The wife experiencing labor pains. All of a sudden, she went into labor at the house. Ty had to deliver the baby in the closet.
Talk about pressure.
That is pressure.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, standing at the plate. That's not pressure.
No. Delivering the child, and he's on the phone with the 911 operator, and they said, with these contractions, the baby's going to come quick. And he said, I got news for you. I'm already holding on to the baby. I need some instructions.
What's the next step?
What do I do here?
Besides cry.
Well, the good news is they didn't let the drama of having that second child stop them from having their third child, their daughter. It's a happy family, and they've got a great story. There's Peralta down the left field line. This one is going to be just foul. A happy fan there, gets the baseball. It's like, that's
no
nothing,
big
kid.
deal.
I did a left-handed, and I'm a righty. How about that?
I still have my chips. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
going to have a snack. Tell you what, kids, if another one comes this way, maybe I'll catch it
got it.
right-handed. I don't know. Now you enjoy that one. I'm going to get plenty.
Nothing to it.
Yeah.
You thought you were going to get it behind me, didn't you? Nope.
Kids, that's how Dad rolls. Foul down the line. Now, if he can get this one, I'd be impressed.
You can't go on the field to get it. They'll give you a nice hand as they walk you out of the stadium.
The guy behind him still saying, now, I almost had it. Well, buddy, almost ain't good enough. We got it.
I got it.
The count 2-2 to Peralta. Ball 3. There goes the runner. It's a fly ball to center field. Carlos Gonzalez has it, and Avila has to go back to first base. Today's Save of the Week is brought to you by the region's Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, who remind you that upgrading your HVAC system makes paying your energy bill more comfortable. Visit togetherwesave.com. Last night, Houston Street came into the ball game, picked up his 20th save of the season, his 5th save in the month of June, as the Rockies held on for a 1-run victory, their 4th straight win. Here's Andy Dirks.
There's going to be another ball game played here at Coors Field after today's game. It's the Prep All-Stars.
Oh.
The top 20 graduating seniors playing against the top 20 underclassmen. A 2-hour or 7-inning game. The underclassmen are going to be managed and coached by the Rocks scouting department.
Well, and Jeff, Daniel Schlereth, who's in the bullpen for the Tigers, played his high school baseball at Highlands Ranch High School in his high school career. Got to play 3 games here at Coors Field and homered in one of those games, though he kind of downplays. He says, well, it was a metal bat and it was kind of off the end of the bat.
That's okay. You still homered at Coors Field.
Exactly.
Well, that's what's neat during the season when the Rockies are on the road. There's a lot of high school games that are played here at Coors Field. And the top 20 graduating seniors are going to be managed by the top coaches that won state championships all the way from 5A down to 1A this year.
That is so neat. There's a ground ball to Tulowitzki. He'll step on the bag, throw to first, and it's in time for the double play. But the Tigers pick up 3 in the inning as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Detroit leads at 7-1. Time for the Land Rover extraordinary play, and it came at the end of that 7th inning. The ground ball to Tulowitzki. He steps on second, fires over to first for the double play to double up Andy Dirks and end that inning. We get set for the bottom of the 7th. Justin Verlander still on the hill. He's given up 3 hits today and 1 earned run. That was a solo home run to Ty Wigington. He'll face Helton, Tulowitzki, and Smith here in the bottom of the 7th.
So far, he's been everything that's been advertised about Justin Verlander. 69 pitches, 4 strikeouts, 0 walks. With already 2 no-hitters on his resume.
And he's 28 years old.
I can see him throwing a couple more.
Go back to his very first no-hitter. Magglio Ordonez making the final out June 12, 2007 against the Milwaukee Brewers. to pick up his second one against Toronto. And his last outing against Cleveland had a no-hitter in the 8th that was finally broken up on a single up the middle, even though he delivered a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. The young Rockies fan enjoying the ball game. A little nervous, retreating now back into the safety between the parents.
He's got his hat, his shirt.
Big brother forcing him to
Ready
wave.
to go. Big brother's got this shirt and the hat on.
They got all their Rockies gear. They're set to go. Now they just want to see their team put some runs on the board. Helton looks at a first pitch strike. And the count quickly 0-2 to Helton.
Batters, 12 first pitch strikes, and when you do that as a pitcher, then you put the hitter on the defensive immediately. But even if he hasn't thrown the first pitch for a strike, that second pitch has usually been a strike. You don't head into the 7th inning just throwing 72 pitches.
Yeah.
Without throwing a lot of them over the plate.
This one to shallow center. Jackson has it, and there's one away. Well, did you miss any of today's game so far? If so, check out Double Play tomorrow at 4 before the start of the Rockies-Indians series. It's all the highlights and best moments in just 30 minutes only on Root Sports. There's quite a few Tigers fans at the game today. Looks like today's going to be another sellout like last night's ball game. Tulowitzki at the plate. 1 for 2. He singled back in the 2nd inning. And this one just over the head of Peralta for a base hit. So Tulowitzki has his 2nd hit of the ball game and the Rockies' 4th hit of the day.
Takes a lot of strength to break your bat but still hit the line drive over the head of the shortstop.
Troy Tulowitzki now hitting .378 on this homestand. With a couple homers, he's driven in 10 runs and scored 7 runs.
When he started this homestand, he was hitting .261. Now he's up to .277.
Here's Seth Smith looking for his first hit of the afternoon. He had an error in the 7th that cost the Rockies. As Don Kelly scored on a Brendan Bosch single that just got away from Smith.
I don't know why Justin Verlander tried to pick Troy off again. He's thrown at an error. He's thrown another one away. But I had to check on the ruling. I wanted to see what that ruling was on the last one where they got Charlie Blackmon at second base. It was just ruled a 3-6 put out. There's no assist that goes to the pitcher. And the rule is 10.10C3. Courtesy of our own Tracy Ringlesby.
Ringlesby knows. As soon as you said 10 points, that Ringlesby
well, that's how
always
I got
adds in the yeah.
I got the information from him. I assumed
the Cowboy knows
it would be a 1-3-6 put out. And here's what I was talking about: is the bad throw. So it's not a caught stealing, but
right.
It's not an error on the pitcher.
Right. Seth Smith, the fly ball to center field. Jackson has it. 2 away, and Tulowitzki will retreat back to first base.
So I just had to see what the official ruling would be. It was just a 3-6 put out.
Yeah, I wonder why. I mean, what?
Well, he says no reward for the misplay to the pitcher.
How Far Did It Travel, brought to you by AAA Travel. Relax, we take care of you. Ty Wigington in the 5th inning, his home run, 398 feet. So far, it's been the only run the Rockies have been able to put on the board. Wigington fouls that one back.
Justin Verlander challenges him again. Did you hit one last time off a fastball? I'm going to see if you can do it again.
Here's one at 96.
But that's what power pitchers like to do. They have confidence in their ability and their arm. Nothing like power on power for a power hitter and a pitcher.
One pitch. 2-1.
.98 on the last one.
Talked about it. He's a guy that can ramp up that velocity late in ball games. It is the 7th inning. He's thrown 82 pitches. That one popped up. This one's going to make it back to the seats. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Not a customer? See a Wells Fargo banker today for details. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC.
Charlie close to that foul ball again.
Ground ball to short. Thrown to the first. And that'll take care of the Rockies in the 7th inning. We head to the top of the 8th. 7-1 Tigers. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. Comcast, advertise your business locally on the networks people want. Go to ComcastSpotlight.com. The Colorado Lottery, don't forget to play. And by King Soopers, more value for the way you live. Well, the Tigers with a 7-1 lead over the Rockies as we start play here in the top of the 8th inning. Ryan Rayburn leading things off. Swing and a miss. Verlander on deck. Austin Jackson due up third. Clayton Mortensen had 5 relief appearances prior to this game. Went 13 in the 3rd innings and given up just 1 run. Tulowitzki, the long throw for the out. in a play that's just become commonplace for Tulowitzki.
I was just wondering, was he just going to throw it sidearm or was he going to jump and throw it? That's the only discussion now. Is he's going to make the play. You've seen it so many times. This is a routine play for him anymore. And he throws the guy out by a couple steps. I mean, 3 errors on the season, a .992 fielding percentage, first in the National League, everything else, but the range factor that is involved with the fielding percentage, that's what separates Troy from a lot of other shortstops.
Early on, you'd have gone, what a play. Now it's
ho-hum.
6-3 put up.
But we get to watch that every single day. Think about how the Tigers feel when they come in, or scouts when they watch this. They're in awe because that is a above average major league play. You don't see it made every single day.
Verlander is 0 for 3 today. Has struck out twice. Did have a fly ball to right field. One in the dirt.
Doug just handed me this note for Tulo, a .986 fielding percentage. That's the highest of any shortstop in Major League history with over 500 games. Major League history now.
Well, he's something special, that's for sure. Verlander strikes out. That'll be the second out of the inning. Let's check in once again with Mark Stout. Mark.
All right, Tom Huey, you were talking about the Futures game that is happening after the Rockies game against the Tigers. These are the guys that are playing in the game. Everybody wave, And, Jeff, you talked about it. It's the seniors against the underclassmen. This is Nick Stevens from Air Academy. He's going to throw today. He's one of the seniors. So pretty cool. They're all getting ready to go. They got their gear downstairs. Game after the game, as you said, 7 innings.
Well, I have a good friend in the family. Jordan Serena from Chaparral is going to be playing in the game. He's sitting a couple seats behind you there, Mark.
I remember Jordan's name from football.
Yes.
And you were always saying he's a great baseball player.
He's going to take his talents to Columbia University out in New York to play baseball for Columbia.
But this is a kind of a neat thing. Father's Day, do it every year, and these guys are ready to go. So,
and Jordan's back there. Are they talking about me? I heard my name.
I heard my name.
I don't. All right, thank you, Mark,
Thanks,
for that.
Mark. Thanks, guys.
There's Daniel Schlereth, that we talked about, Highlands Ranch grad. It's been fun for him to come back. He's had his family out at the ball game. This one lined to Tulowitzki out. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Tigers lead at 7-1. summary is brought to you by Ecotech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. The Tigers struck first, had a 4-0 lead before the Rockies finally got on the board thanks to Ty Wigington, who hit his 150th career home run. Justin Verlander has been the story, as he's only allowed 4 hits to the Rockies so far in this ball game. It's 7-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Charlie Blackmon will be leading things off. He's 12 for his last 21 with that single in the 5th, and he's driven in 5 runs. Danny Worth in defensively now for the Tigers, playing over at second base. Blackmon pops it up.
Always happens.
Worth has it.
Come into the ball game, you're going to get a ball, whether it's a first hitter or sometime during that inning.
This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. 2 people will become millionaires in the July 1st bonus millionaire raffle drawing. Buy your tickets today. Blackmon with a single through the left side. 1 for 3 today. And he has been a great player for the Rockies since his call up from Colorado Springs. There's another guy that's been called up recently, Matt Pagnazzi, looking for his first hit as a Rocky. Great crowd at Coors Field today. Last night they had 48,555. More than that here today. 49,015. That ball's fouled off the mask of Avila.
Well, the weather's nice.
Well, Matt Pagnazzi, last time he started, it was against the Rockies. Had a couple hits. It was the end of last season. Jim Tracy had said before the ball game he was impressed with Pagnazzi, the way he worked with his pitchers.
Threw out 5 or 6 hits, drove in 5 runs.
More surprised that he was a free agent at the end of the season.
Well,
so.
a minor league free agent. They've taken him off the roster. And you're always looking for guys to add depth to your organization, and that's why they went out and signed Matt, to have a guy down at AAA that in case you had an injury that you would be able to call him up.
The 2-2 pitch from Verlander. And the count now full.
They got it.
Boy, that one hit him. Would have been ball 4 anyway. Pagnazzi will take his base.
Completely missed his location. Avila wanted it down and in. That's a 2 for 1. You get Matt Pagnazzi and also the catcher. Both of them took it on the forearm. Justin Verlander today, 5 ground ball outs, 12 fly outs, but 7 of those have been to the infielders and 4 strikeouts.
Now he'll face Jonathan Herrera, who's 1 for 22 this month. Fouls back that first pitch.
Remember that one hit he had a couple nights ago, a couple games ago, was after he'd been hit by a pitch and the umpire didn't see it.
Yes.
It went off his forearm. The umpire didn't catch it, but he stayed in there and then got the base hit.
There's a grounder to third. They'll go to second for 1 out. Throw to first. Not in time. Herrera's safe.
Was hit kind of a cue shot right off the end of the bat. Don Kelly at third, throw to Danny Worth, but Jonathan able to beat it out. Correct call. Just if he didn't hit the front part of the base and maybe caught the top part, he would have been out.
A bang bang play, and it brings up Carlos Gonzalez 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Carlos Gonzalez on this homestand hitting .419. Trying to extend his 11-game hitting streak. There's Jason Giambi on deck. We expect to see plenty of Giambi over the next week as the Rockies can use a DH against the Indians and the Yankees. On a strike count 1-2.
Even with a 7-1 lead and 2 outs, Verlander still throwing curveballs.
And the general thought is just throw your fastball.
Throw your fastball, but Verlander's still out there pitching. He wants to keep it at a 7-1 game. He's not just going to lay a pitch in there, but the guys on the other side saying, hey, challenge somebody.
The 1-2 pitch. 2-2. 97 he hits on the radar gun with that one.
It's not unusual for him to average anywhere from 95 to 96 during a ball game. He's been second the last 2 or 3 years trailing a ball, though, but the way he's throwing, I imagine he's going to go to the top of the list as far as average mile per hour on a fastball.
The next pitch will be the 100th of this ball game for Justin Verlander.
And 117 in his last outing against Cleveland.
There goes the runner. This one to the left side. Peralta has to make a long throw, and he got him. Well, a great play by Johnny Peralta ends the inning. We head to the top of the ninth. 7-1 Tigers. Pitches, 65% of those have been strikes. Ty Wigington, a solo home run, has provided the only offense for the Rockies. They have just 4 hits against Verlander. With more on what's coming up on the Toyota postgame show, let's check in with Alana. Alana.
All right, Tom, thanks very much. Well, coming up on the Toyota postgame show, this just in, Verlander is as good as advertised today against the Colorado Rockies. And then erratic behavior, 2 defensive miscues and a base running mistake. And, of course, we will hear from the skipper. And don't forget to continue the Toyota text talk, guys.
All right, thank you, Alana. Clayton Mortensen still on the hill for the Rockies. He's due to face Kelly, Bosch, and Cabrera in the top half of the 9th inning.
Clayton's going to eat up some innings, but has not thrown that many pitches. Got out of the last inning with that double play turned by Troy Tulowitzki.
He's been big out of the bullpen.
Well, a couple different times. The first time he came up here was 6 innings.
He's behind 2-0 on Kelly. Kelly 2 for 4, had a triple, drove in a run, singled and scored a run in the 7th. There's one to center field. Gonzalez has a beat on it. There's one away. This replay brought to you by the Colorado Lottery. 2 people will become millionaires in the July 1st bonus millionaire raffle drawing. Buy your tickets today. This kid lost his ice cream. Gets picked up for him. Tell you what, just go right back at it. They clean this park every day. It can't be that bad.
One of the cleanest ballparks going.
They could have hosed it down 5 seconds before he dropped that ice cream cone. I don't know if I would have picked it back up and taken another run at it. Here's Brennan Bosch. Bosch is 2 for 3, scored a couple runs, also been hit by a pitch. This one to center field. Carlos Gonzalez back towards the warning track, and this one's going to be gone. A solo home run, and that'll be the 10th of the season for Bosch.
I was just watching Carlos Gonzalez, and I thought it was going to be a fly ball. It shows you how strong Bosch is. Carlos comes in a couple steps and has to go back. But even if he broke right away, where he hit that ball, he was not going to be able to get it. Uh-oh.
Cabrera to right field, and it's back-to-back home runs for the Tigers. And now it's a 9-1 ball game.
It's a strong man to hit it right-handed over the auxiliary scoreboard and right. First home run of this series for Cabrera. He's had a lot of singles and doubles. First time he's left the yard.
Well, plenty of high fives in the Tigers dugout. They've got a 9-1 lead, and here's Alex Avila.
The appeal down to Fielding Colbreth. Third, he went.
Count now 1-2.
Did you see today that Dante Bichette Jr. signed with the Yankees?
Really? Count 2-2. You think he'll ever rock a mullet like his dad?
Oh, I think the Yankees are hoping he can hit like his dad.
Yeah.
He's going to play third base. Signed to play collegiately, but drafted in the first round.
Well, count now full to Avila. Here's the payoff pitch. And he struck him out.
We'll get him with a backdoor slider. Didn't hit its spot or its location, but right on the upper quadrant of the forward strike zone.
Here's Johnny Peralta. Peralta singled back in the second inning. He's 1 for 4. Count quickly 3-0. That one's a strike. Mortensen has thrown 38 pitches. The grounder to Wigginton. And he's out at first. But the Tigers get back-to-back home runs from Bosch and Cabrera. They lead it 9-1. Brought to you by StubHub. Fans, the next time you want to catch a Rockies game, head to StubHub, where you'll find a great selection of seats for every game. Tri-State, providing affordable power while investing in innovation. Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers visit wellsfargo.com/Rockies for 2-for-1 club level seats. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Casper Wells, your new right fielder for the Tigers here in the 9th inning. Tigers lead at 9-1. Justin Verlander still on the hill, looking to finish what he started. And he'll face Ryan Spilborghs to start things off here in the bottom half of the ninth. Spilborghs batting in the pitcher's position. And it's a first pitch strike from Verlander.
And that was pitch number 101 for Justin Verlander. That's not unusual for him. He's made 34 consecutive starts throwing over 100+ pitches. The last time he didn't throw 100 pitches was almost a year ago, back in 2010, June 22nd, a game against the Mets.
Fouled off. I saw Verlander in the clubhouse on Friday, and one of the relievers was next to him, and Justin Verlander was teasing him, pretending it was him, just like, "Oh, Justin, can you just throw 109 pitches and throw a complete game? It was just we're tired out there." That comes a trainer to take a look at Avila.
Just a little dirt in the eye off that ground ball foul at home plate. Kicked up a little dirt. Yeah, you don't want to be sitting behind home plate with that mask on and Verlander throwing 98 miles an hour.
No, you want to see that one coming.
Let's make sure you can have both eyes focusing.
Little shrapnel. Dirt kicking up. Here's the 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Missed earlier, Ryan Spielberg talking about his dad blew out his arm throwing tennis balls to him in the backyard, so they had to resort to throwing bottle caps. And a strike, and struck him out.
Just straight heat. Might have been in. Yeah, it was on the forward strike zone, but in a 9-1 ball game, you'll get that call a lot.
There's Todd Helton. The only complete game thrown at Coors Field this season is by Jhoulys Chacin so far. That was on April 15th against the Cubs. Verlander just 2 outs away from becoming the second guy. The 2-0 pitch to Helton. Swing and a miss. One to right field. Wells has it, and there's 2 away. Today's Delivery of the Game is brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Justin Verlander, hitting on all cylinders as he has been all season, has only given up 4 hits, 2 of them to Troy Tulowitzki. The only run he gave up was a solo home run to Ty Wigginton. Now he's 1 out away from a complete game victory against the Rockies as he faces Tulowitzki. There's a fly ball to deep center field. Jackson back. Has it, and that's all she wrote. The Tigers will win the final game of this series 9-1. Verlander will up his record to 9-3 and ties for the major league lead in wins. Aaron Cook will take the loss and drop to 0-2. And that'll wrap up the homestand for the Rockies. Now they hit the road for 6 games, 3 against Cleveland and 3 against the New York Yankees. We'll stay right where you are when we come back. It's time for the Toyota postgame show.